I want water.
Water. What's your water?
When I communicate with the students in my class, I individualise my communication. Move the blue. I vary my tone of voice and I use visuals.
Socks on.
I adjust my communication to meet Xavier's needs by talking very slowly and clearly and repeating myself.
If I'm feeling overwhelmed in class, I ask Miss if I have a break.
Miss Effendi, can I please go to the common room?
Sure, you need a break? For sure.
If I'm in the playground, I say to my friends, can you come walk with me and we can have a little chat? Or I just ask my friends just to leave me alone for a minute.
So to start with this morning, okay, we're going to start with our guided reading.
It helps me to understand instructions when the teacher writes something on the board, so I know what we're going to be doing in the day.
Aiden can cope maybe with 2 steps, but the instructions need to be very explicit.
Charlotte, today Nana's going to pick you up and take you to school.
Charlotte in particular needs very few words and very explicit instructions.
When I transition to new places, I like to know what's going on in advance and where the place is and where things are.
Hello. How are you feeling? You've come out of class. Is everything okay?
Not really.
No.
Normally I communicate with my teachers when they're on their own, so I can speak to them one-on-one without being judged by other students.
Having someone show me how to do things helps me understand instructions better rather than just being told.
Changes we've made to our home to try and make it more supportive for our kids is using like calendars on the fridge so they know what's happening on what day of the week.
Xavier socialises in the community by being around other children but not interacting with them.
Yellow and green.
Green.
I support Xavier talking to new people by prompting him and modelling, and he will repeat.
I won.
It's a hot day, isn't it? You want to jump in the pool.
When the kids were younger, they needed a lot of support with knowing what to do in social settings, and we would actually go a couple of times a week and practice a script at the park. So we would tell them that they were going to go to the park, find somebody that they thought they might like to play with and introduce themselves, and they had a specific script. Charlotte has a lot of difficulty with making friends and needs support with recognising the social cues, in particular when playing with other kids. So she does like to have the play planned and to control the play or direct the play in her own way. And that can be difficult for other kids at times.
Xavier, then you, okay? I like to socialise with my friends by talking to them. We don't really play together, but we just usually talk about the games we play, the TV shows we watch, and movies.
My friends are my friends because they like playing with me. They laugh when I do something funny or anything, and they do funny things back.
I know someone is my friend when I trust them. They talk to me more than once and they essentially invite me out to places.
So where we are now is the art and tech rooms. Talking to people and joining groups helps me make friends. Sometimes I find it difficult to make friends because I'm different in some ways to everyone else.
I think some of the difficulties our students have with making friends is being able to handle the complexities of high school relationships. We will rely on the help of the students' team and the psychologists and the families to really work through those emotions.
I support Xavier to transition away from a special interest by giving him an alternate option or by counting down.
It's hard to transition from my special interest because I usually have it involved in my everyday life, and like trying to move away from that is kind of tricky.
If we're using the special interest as a reward, we think it's really important that we scaffold and make sure that they understand that there will only be a certain amount of time, and we'll explicitly tell them, for example, they're going to have that for 10 minutes, and we would give them a timer so they have a visual for that, and make sure that they understand that after that 10 minutes that will be finishing. So one of the supports that we use for Aiden for his emotional regulation is a tear box, which was set up because when he became extremely frustrated, he tended to lash out. And one of the ways he would do that is to rip and tear things. And what would happen is when he de-escalated later, he would become very upset that he'd done that in anger. So we set up a box with just old magazines and brochures and newspapers in it that he was able to rip and tear and throw and do whatever he wanted with them. And then once he de-escalated, we could just pick it up and throw it away.
Music helps me to learn because I tend to be able to focus better when I have music going on, and when I'm feeling upset, it helps me to feel better. The best way to support me to transition away from my special interests is to essentially let me know that I can go back to it once I finish the task.
Happy.
Yeah, can you show us Happy on here? Where's Happy? What's that one?
A turret.
So the strategies that I use with my students in my classroom that are also useful and in fact I think really important for students in any classroom are particularly the strategies that we've started using regarding emotional regulation and helping children to identify how they're feeling, as well as then selecting strategies to cope with whatever that feeling might be.
So when I work with Georgia, she often has difficulties identifying her emotions. So if I'm supporting her in a class, I may need to prompt her to remind her that she is starting to escalate and that she needs to bring her levels down again. I use a number system with Georgia, so a 1 is her baseline and a 10 is a severe escalation. So I say to Georgia, you're about a level 2 at the moment, we want to keep you under a level 5, and we try to bring her back down to a level 1.
Our parents are fantastic at sending us a text in the morning to let us know that something may have gone wrong the night before and a student might be feeling heightened before they even get to school. That information can really help us map out the day for a student.
Fidget toys helps me, well, not really to get my work done. It's usually to help me concentrate. We also got Chewies made out of rubber, so you can chew them. I like fidget spinners because you're able to just sit here and you're able to concentrate.
Sometimes if I'm feeling overwhelmed, I like to read a book at my desk or go to the reading corner, or I like to use my headphones or tell Miss Gibbs that I need some time out in the crime room.
The sensory supports that I have in place include tactile support, so Play-Doh, water beads, I have pillows, cushions of different fabrics. I also have auditory support, so Charlotte particularly requires headphones because my classroom does get very loud.
Having headphones and music helps me. Sometimes a fidget cube and my sequin pencil case I have, that helps my sensory.
I support Xavier to get his homework done by sitting with him, encouraging him and letting him take his time.
Having a reminder and a clear order helps me to take turns at school. So say if it was a whole class, it could, and I was playing the game, I was a leader, and I would say it would go me, Xavier, this person, Ethan.
So his special interest really drives things like asking questions, socialising, seeking information and problem solving.
My students are supported in class to achieve their learning goals by me breaking down complex tasks into more manageable and achievable goals. Their lesson goals are clear throughout the lesson.
With my writing, I've set a goal to write 4 sentences or more.
When I'm completing assessment tasks, it helps to have a timeline of each step and when that's supposed to be completed by. I like to learn visually, like by seeing the thing in front of me. Sometimes listening works as well. It just really depends on the subject. When teaching is done in a different way, that's when learning's really fun. I tend not to like the lessons where you sit down and just listen to the teacher talk the whole lesson. It's those ones where they have maybe YouTube clips or interactive ways to learn. Like there's a thing called Kahoot, which is really fun and engaging.
Sometimes I like timers and countdowns because they help me to know how long I have left on a certain task, but then other times they stress me out because they put pressure on.
We use technology a lot, so Google Classroom is a really, really important and effective tool that we use to help our students stay on track and focused on their tasks.
Being autistic helps me to learn because I can learn in different ways to everyone. It also stops me from learning sometimes because I can't cope in classes because of how loud it is or it's too disruptive. My teachers make learning interesting and fun for me when they try to make all the activities hands-on. When I'm completing assessment tasks, it helps me to have lots of breaks because I can't sit still for very long.